I'm sure by now you've seen a lot of Galaxy F62 videos. You know what most of them have in common? They were paid for by Samsung. And when paid by Samsung, you know how people talk shit up. The A32 is suddenly amazing. A Ferrari is shown off more than the actual phone itself. Things are awesome for everyone. We have racetracks, drone shots, a lot of giveaways. But unlike, say, the A12 or even the A32, the F62 seems like a pretty solid phone, at least on paper. So, though Samsung does not send out phones to people they don't work with, I decided to buy one out for myself and test it out. So, is this just another phone that Samsung's paid YouTubers to hype up? Or is this actually good? Let's find out. Hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech, and if you do end up liking what you see here, thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Let's now get started. Okay, as always, let's start with the build. It's plastic. It sucks. Now, I won't hold it against you if that is what you expected me to say. And I am kind of going to say that, but the back, yes, it is plastic. It's prone to fingerprints and smudges, but it does look better than pretty much any other Samsung phone with a plastic back, barring maybe the Galaxy S21. The gradient and the lines do add some much needed flair, gives the phone kind of character. And while there is a camera bump, it does not cause any wobble whatsoever. Now the reason being the phone is pretty heavy, but even at almost 220 grams, Samsung's done well with weight distribution and it feels more solid than it looks. This is one of the rare situations where something is better in real life than it appears to be on paper. It's usually the other way around, especially with Samsung. Now I would have loved for a soft case to be included in the box, especially since the back is plastic and it picks up scratches very easily. Now, my phone, I generally baby around my phones, and even for me, it already has a bucket load of scratches. But hey, at least they've got a charger included in the box. Now, this is a 25-watt charger, and the phone still takes about 2.5 hours to go from 0 to 100. Now, this is not because the charger isn't fast, it's just because of the battery inside, which also happens to be the biggest positive for this phone. It's got a 7000 milliamp hour battery, and that makes it a... Don't make me say it. I really don't want to say it. Okay, I'll say it. That makes it a battery life monster. I easily ended most of my days with 50% or more left in the tank. And no, I'm not kidding you. On days I push this phone for testing, gaming, cameras and all that, I still ended with about 20% left. Draining this phone in under a single day, that's just not gonna, that's gonna be very, very difficult. So if battery life is priority, then this has to be your best option. Now another excellent feature of the Galaxy F62 has gotta be its display. This is a 6.7-inch panel. It's typical Samsung Super AMOLED, so vibrant colors, excellent viewing angles, and it's plenty bright too, so outdoor use isn't something I was concerned with at all. Now here's the thing guys, you know how the A12 comes with a 90Hz display? The F62 also comes with an awesome 90Hz refresh. No it doesn't, but I really wanted it to, because if this had a 90Hz refresh, that would make it the perfect display for this segment, HDR damned. Sadly, that's not the case here. This here is a 60Hz panel, which seems unreasonable for a phone priced at 24,000 these days. But if refresh rate is something you're okay compromising on, the F62 absolutely delivers. This is a very high quality panel and the bezels are pretty slim. This is a flat panel too for those people who like that. One other con though that I have to mention is that Samsung doesn't mention what they are using for protection, so I highly doubt there's any Corning Gorilla Glass here. Okay, moving on. While talking about cons, here's another one. This one lacks carrier aggregation. So for those of you who don't know what carrier aggregation is, it's when the phone is able to latch on to multiple bands to provide faster or more stable data speeds. And this is something that's available even on budget phones from other brands. And there is no reason for Samsung to actually omit it here, because the chip most definitely supports it. We've seen it in the past and it is their own chip. So it's not like they're going to have to pay more to license it. The only reason they seem to have cut it here is to create a difference between this and higher priced Samsung phones. And that is a pretty big disappointment. But coming back to the positives, it's the chip. Yes, the 9825 here is an amazing chip for the price. While it is true that I've seen this chip score lesser than expected, and even for me, I couldn't get the same numbers Samsung talks about on their site, which makes it look very, very bad. It makes it feel like they're misleading people. But numbers are just that, right? The experience, the actual experience, the user experience, it was excellent. Now, if you're gonna go in here expecting a flagship, then no. This is not gonna be at the same level as, say, a Galaxy S21 or even a S20 for that matter. The fact that Samsung is trying to push this as a flagship, the Ferraris and all that stuff, that is where an issue is. Of course, for this price point, we shouldn't be expecting a S20 level of performance. If you're just expecting excellent performance, then this phone is not going to let you down. For example, the performance, it's about the same as the Snapdragon 765G on the Nord. That's one of your best bang for buck phones available. The key difference is that the F62 does not support 5G. Again, it's easy to see this as a con, but I'm not really going to call it a con. At least that's what I think. I mean, hear me out here. 5G is at least a year and a half away. When it comes, just like with 4G, we're going to have great reception at some places, especially in metros, and it's going to take a year or more, even if we are very optimistic, for it to evolve and become something that's actually useful, give us faster than 4G speeds. I'm not saying you should not get a 5G phone here, you should not be future-proofing your choices. What I am saying is that don't let 5G dictate what you should and shouldn't buy. At least not today. Don't buy the F62 for a variety of reasons. Don't buy it because it doesn't have a high refresh rate. Don't buy it because it lacks carrier aggregation. Don't buy it because it's got a crappy plastic build or it's too heavy. That's all fine. Just don't make your decision based on 5G or the lack thereof. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, moving on, the software here, we have full-fledged One UI 3.1 built on top of Android 11. Now, the user experience, like I said, for the most part was fine. A little stutter here and there at max, but predominantly it was smooth sailing. Barring that Exynos 9825, we have 6 or 8 gigs of RAM and what seems to be 128 gigs of, well, there is some confusion over this. Is this UFS 2.1? Is this UFS 3.0? Samsung's not clarified it, but benchmark results seem to indicate that this is UFS 3.0 indeed. And this one even has dedicated microSD support if you want to further expand, so storage is not a problem at all. With all that said, it's now time for us to talk optics. We have 4 cameras to the back. As always, 2 of them are there just to make up numbers, 5 megapixel macro and depth. The lesser I speak about them, the better. The primary though, it's excellent. It's a 64 megapixel sensor. Again, Samsung does not confirm which sensor. Some reports indicate it's the IMX682. I've not been able to verify that. But regardless of what sensor is being used, the performance is top notch. Look at how crisp these shots are. The color science is on point. The white balance, they've nailed it. Samsung's done a beautiful job with the optics here. The detail too. Remember, this is just at 16 megapixels. I'm not even using the 64 megapixel mode. And just look at that number plate. Dynamic range, again, I'm going to rate it between good and great. With the secondary camera, guys, ultra wides are never expected to be as detailed as the primary. But you rate it, you call it good or bad based on, in general, how close the colors are to the primary. And if you're going by that metric, Samsung's done very well. There's a bit of chromatic aberration or mixing of colors at the edges, but it's something you only notice if you're looking for it or if you pixel peep, which you probably rarely do with ultra wides. There is a dedicated night mode, and while not mind-blowing, it did seem to do a reasonably good job. Nothing worth talking up or complaining about. Now, on the video front, we can shoot up to 4K at 30 FPS. No stabilization at this resolution. For stability, you're going to have to drop down to 1080. Weirdly, this phone doesn't support 60 FPS, not just for 4K, but even for 1080. The selfie camera has a 32 megapixel sensor and it shoots beautiful selfies, rich, detailed with proper skin tones. Now, for all this, Samsung charges 24,000 rupees, making this one of Samsung's better offerings in a while. So here's what I'm going to rate it at. Built-in design, average. Display, above average to good. Internals, good. Yes, good. I know we all love to harp on Exynos, but this one, it's really good, guys. No heating, not a lot of throttling going on. It's a pretty solid performer. Battery life is amazing, charging above average, cameras excellent. So for the 24,000, Samsung asks if you're someone who's into cameras, if you like watching videos, movies, consuming media on your phone. Yes, it's got a headphone jack, forgot to mention that, and there's a single downward firing speaker. It's nothing to write home about. So anyway, if you want to consume media, if that's something you like doing, and you like having solid performance on your phone with excellent battery life, or if you just want the best Samsung phone for this price, then the F62 is an easy recommend. Of course, if you aren't too high on performance, the M51 gets you almost the same everything at about 1,500 rupees lesser. That said, I personally still choose the F62 over the M51, not because of those amazing Ferrari ads, but because the chip inside, it's more powerful, and I feel it's worth the 1,500 rupee difference. By the way, the 8 gig RAM variant is just a cash grab. The extra 2 gigs, they're gonna do nothing. So if you decide to go for this, please stick with the 6 gig variant. Now, if you're someone who's into gaming, the faster refresh means a lot to you. If you want a smaller phone with better build, then you should probably look into other options. Carrier aggregation is again something this lacks. So there you go. As much as I hate Samsung for their stupid marketing videos with YouTubers, the F62 is actually not a bad product at all. In fact, it's one of the best phones Samsung has offered in a while. So that is my take on it. What about you? What do you think of the F62? Leave a comment down below, letting me know what you feel. Hashtag 30 Squad. And with that, we get to the end of this review. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about the video. Subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. And thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4 Retech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.